All right, everybody, welcome to today's video. And today's topic, I want to go ahead and answer a question that I've been getting from you out there as well as from people when I'm out at events, and that's what I do to be able to afford this hobby and the cars that I have. And it's not a question that is as simply answered as by just what I do for a living, but there are a lot of other factors as well, and so we'll go ahead and discuss those in today's video. So as you're aware, of course, there are 6 cars currently in the collection. We've got the 3 here behind me in the garage. We've also got 2 in the driveway, including my wife's Charger as well as my Honda. And then our latest acquisition, the 74 Plymouth Cuda project that is sitting out in storage currently. And so, of course, this isn't something that I've amassed overnight. It's taken a lot of years to get to where I am with these cars. And of course, there are going to be a lot of years going forward to being able to purchase other cars to add to the collection. So of course, for starters, we've got the Challenger here. I've had it now for 23 and a half years. It was my first car I drove in high school. First restoration I did with my dad for one of my vehicles. And it's of course hugely sentimental and something I will never get rid of this. I will always cherish that car as well as the memories with it. And of course, then we got the Viper we got about 6.5 years ago now, and the Neon was our most recent purchase up until we got the Cuda, and that one we got 4 years ago, and then my wife's Charger we bought brand new in 2016. So really up until the purchase of the Barracuda last December, which of course was only $350, the most recent car purchase was the Neon, and that was over 4 years ago. And so what I do for my normal day-to-day work is I am an engineer by trade, a mechanical engineer. I went ahead and have been in industry now for almost 14 years. I started out in 2007 when I graduated from school. Started with one company in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley and was there for over 11 years before changing companies to the current company I'm at, where I've been ever since. Now, being an engineer hasn't been enough to be able to afford the level of cars that I want to have in my collection. I had to go ahead and make other sacrifices as well. So one of the sacrifices, of course, is making cars a priority. Besides just the normal day-to-day of maintenance and stuff, just sacrificing and buying cars, putting probably more money than most people would think is normal into cars, and of course doing a lot of the work myself. A lot of these cars, with the work that needs to be done on them, if I were to send it to a shop and have them do it, would cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. So I save a ton of money by doing all of my own work. And of course, it's just another facet of the hobby that I really enjoy, is wrenching on these cars most of the time. And there are some times when a car will throw a tantrum and I really don't feel like working on it, but at the same time, I know if I send it to a shop, it's going to cost me a lot more than if I do the work myself. So I go ahead and suck it up and do the work myself and save that extra money. And a perfect example, like on the Neon, something I still need to get around to do, I haven't done for a couple of years, is replace the heater core. And it's like a $40 part, but it would probably cost over $1,000 to have the dealership to go ahead and replace it because I got to pull the dash out of the car. So I'm going to end up doing the work myself. It's just when I decide to get around to actually doing it, because like I said, I really don't want to pull the dash out, but at the same time, I don't want to go and have it at a dealership and spend the money to have them fix it. So it's one of those trade-offs that you have to do to go ahead and find ways to get creative to save money to be able to afford this hobby. Now, of course, the biggest sacrifice, in addition to working on the cars myself, that has allowed me to afford the hobby that I do is my commute. So I do work in Silicon Valley still, and having been there for a number of years, but I no longer live in Silicon Valley because the housing prices were just ridiculous and the garage spaces weren't going to accommodate the cars that I want to have and currently have. And so 7 years ago, made the conscious decision to move out of Silicon Valley and move out here to the Sierra foothills. And we were able to purchase our house here for less than the down payment of a medium priced house in Silicon Valley at that time. And so there's a huge cost savings there. And of course, with that extra discretionary funding, it allows me to go ahead and purchase additional cars and go to additional events and just really enjoy the hobby. So it's definitely not something as simple as just, oh, working in this industry and he's making all of this money. Well, that I am having a good job that gives me a good salary definitely helps. But you also have to take in the other factors as well, as me making the automotive hobby a priority and spending a lot of extra money in that area. also going through and doing the work myself on these cars instead of taking into the shop and paying them thousands of dollars to do the repair work. And then of course, my commute on top of that, which yes, there is definitely a trade-off there because I do have the additional commute expenses, but that's why I went ahead and bought my 92 Honda Civic, was to mitigate those. The 92 Civic, being an older vehicle and a simpler vehicle, makes it a lot cheaper and easier to work on than a modern vehicle. And then also it still gets really great gas mileage, and I'm getting almost 40 miles to the gallon out of it. And so it's really easy on the gas bill as well, even when gas prices get high like they are currently. But of course, with the pandemic and everything been going on the last year, I haven't been going into the office, been working remotely full time. And so of course, there's been additional savings that have allowed me to do other projects as well, like getting started on the dash restoration that I did last year on the Challenger, and hopefully other projects this year as well on the Challenger, and getting started on that new Plymouth Cuda project. And so that's today's video. I hope you found this information useful as always. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button, give me that thumbs up. It helps me out tremendously with that YouTube algorithm. Of course, one of the things I've been reluctant on making this video just because one thing that's always held true is just because one story works for one person doesn't mean that it'll work again for another person. But at the same time, I felt that sharing this information, since a lot of people have been asking about it, at least gives you an idea. And it's a great industry. I love the field of work that I do. I mean, I've been doing it for 14 years now, and it definitely, having something in engineering is very rewarding, and definitely lines up with my hobby with the automotive stuff. And so it just is a natural fit. And so if you're interested in engineering, I highly recommend it, but also should be noted, you definitely need to be brushing up on your math and sciences, as there is a lot of math courses and science courses involved in getting your engineering degree. And of course, if you want to be kept updated with all my future uploads, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell as well, so that way YouTube will keep you up to date with all my future uploads. Because as I've said repeatedly this year, you're gonna want to stick around and see what we've got planned. We've got some stuff coming to fruition here pretty soon that I'm really excited to share with you guys, and it's definitely gonna be an incredible year this year here in 2021. A lot of things planned. Monterey Car Week is moving ahead full steam. I keep checking in on seeing what type of events they've got going, and everything is looking to be on par to be happening, and it's definitely going to be a memorable year. And I will of course take you guys along with me for that journey, so you're not going to want to miss that. And the SEMA show, they're still planning on having their event this year in Las Vegas, and they're also planning on expanding the SEMA show into the newly finished expansion of the convention center. So it's very exciting to see how much of an expansion that they're going to have and what that new facility looks like. So of course, stick around for that as well. And as always, guys, I will see you the next video.